Welcome to our mini practices. I'm going to have a little bit of kneeling in this class today. So if you would like something underneath your knees, a blanket or something, please feel free to grab something just to pad your knees a bit more here. You can also absolutely do this in a cross-legged. There will be a little bit more kind of shuffling the legs around if you are in a cross-legged position. So find your seat, and again, maybe it's kneeling with me, maybe it's something else. Let your hands just land down on the thighs today. Dropping your focus of the eyes somewhere out in front of you. Maybe that lands on the ground. If you want to close your eyes, of course, you are welcome to close the eyes here. And to begin today, tuning into the natural rhythm of your breath. At whatever pace it is right now. It doesn't have to change, just as it is. Noticing how that breath feels. And then with that noticing of the breath, we're going to start to find a steady, slow pace of breath. If it feels helpful to you, you're welcome to close down the mouth to breathe fully through your nose, or you can breathe how you need to. But the slow inhale and slow exhale. We're going to start to think about adding some movement into that breath here. So movement and breath together. And to do that, we'll start by bringing our hands either together at the heart, or you could bring your palms so they rest onto your chest here. On the inhale, can you draw the elbows out wide, draw the palms out wide, and think about pushing the chest slightly forwards. On the exhale, can you let the hands come back towards the chest, let your chin tuck down slightly. So inhale, looking forwards, maybe you look slightly to the sky, elbows and palms wide. Exhale, hands come back down to the heart. Let's take that 3 more times. So the inhale, lifting the chin to sky. Exhale, bringing the palms back to heart. And as you do, let the chin tuck. Inhale, draw the hands out wide. Exhale, coming back down. From here, let your hands come down to the ground and we'll find our tabletop. So I'm going to shuffle myself around here. So I'm on my mat. Let your fingers spread fairly wide here on your mat. And rather than taking our cat-cows, we'll find some circles here. So if you were leaning towards the right, can you bring the shoulders forward, left, and then back? And keeping that sense of circling the torso around going here. You can lean into these circles as much or as little as you want to. They don't have to be exact in any way. Breath in and breath out. And then can you reverse those circles as well? So same thing, opposite direction with the circles. Maybe think about pushing down into the fingertips as you circle around here. Fab. And then coming back through to center, tucking your toes, drawing the hips back toward the heels. And can you reach your hands a little bit further forwards? So further towards the top of your mat. Enough that so your elbows are almost kind of straight here, or the arms are lengthening out. We're going to rock forwards and backwards. The invitation is to keep the toes tucked. As you rock forwards, bringing the shoulders so they stack over the hands, and see if you can find a kind of straightness through your torso and through the upper part of the legs. And then the exhale, toes tucked into your child's pose. So as we roll forwards, we're almost finding our plank pose really, with the knees down. And then as you rock back, a toe tucked child's pose. Let's take a couple more of those. So rocking forwards and rocking back, rocking forwards and rocking back. One more rocking forwards And then as you rock back, find your tabletop this time. And with the toes tucked, take a couple of cat-cows. So the inhale, cow pose, belly drops, looking forwards. Exhale to cat, tailbone and chin tucked, rounding through the back body. You might take that twice more here. So inhaling, cow pose. Exhaling, cat. Inhaling, cow pose. Exhaling, cats. And then let your toes untuck. Feel free to give them a tap on the mat if you want to give them a tap on the mat. We're going to take our hands back forwards where they were before. And then as you come forwards this time, can you come all the way down to your mat? Let your feet extend out long behind you. Bring your elbows underneath your shoulders. Forearms down towards the ground. So the forearms are parallel. We are looking to find our Sphinx pose here. Think about pushing the pelvis, front of the pelvis down towards the ground. Your toes can be as wide as they want to be apart from each other. And then can you think about the spine being long here? And by long, I mean extending upwards towards the sky. So pushing into your hand, a little bit more length. Chin is welcome to stay tucked here. Breath in and breath out. And then let your torso come down. As you do, bringing your hands underneath the front of your shoulders, elbows tuck in towards the ribs. Cobra pose this time, pushing into your palms. Lift the torso, looking forwards. Exhale, lowers you back down to tuck your toes, downward facing dog. So let yourself find your way to your downward facing dog. Toes tuck, knees lift, sit bones find the sky. When you find your downward facing dog, take a moment just to pedal through the feet to find what it is you need today. You might give the head a gentle rock left and right, or a nod forwards and backwards. From our downward facing dog, walking the feet forwards towards the top of your mat. Let your hands dangle towards the ground. If you want to take hold of opposite elbow here, take hold of opposite elbow. Maybe there's a gentle sway-like motion side to side in your forward fold. Does not have to be exact. Bend in the knees, really, really welcome here. Breath in and breath out. Can you release the hands towards the ground and then slowly roll all the way up to standing? As you roll to standing, give the shoulders a bit of a roll out here. I'm going to turn to face the long edge of the mat. So I'm going to step my left foot back. You're really welcome to do the same. You can stay at the top of your mat and just take the feet wider if you want to. We're going to come into wide-legged fold. So the inside of your feet want to be roughly parallel, or you can turn your toes slightly in. Give it a big old star shape here. So the hands move out wide. A gentle bend in the knees. So rather than locking out that joint in the knees, let your hands then come down towards the hips, leaning forwards with the torso, and then you can slide your hands down your shins, your ankles, or they can go towards the ground in front of you here. Now I'm going to ask us to explore something a little bit different today. You can stay in this kind of downward forward fold just as it is, or we can think about the shape downward facing dog in our wide-legged fold, where we reach our hands forwards and lean the hips back. Let your chin kind of drop down here or tuck slightly. And hopefully this brings in a little bit more kind of stretchiness around the length of the spine, the shoulders, maybe around the legs here. Breathing in this space. Fab. And then can you gently walk your hands back in? Walk your feet closer so that they are roughly underneath your hips. I'm going to grab a block for this to demo today. You can do this without a block. If you are using a block, take that block in an equal triangle between your feet. So there's a little equilateral triangle going on here. Right hand finds the ground or the block in that space. Let your right knee bend. Take your left hand up towards the sky and maybe look towards the sky here. So twisting to one side. And then can we do the other side? So the left hand comes down, left knee bends generously, right hand reaches to the sky. And again, you are really welcome to look up to the sky, or you can stay looking down here. Breath in, breath out. Bring both hands back down towards the ground. Taking your block out to the side, slowly rolling all the way up to standing. Take your hands up towards the sky, bringing the palms together to land them at the heart. And we'll come through to the ground again here. To get there, inhale, hands reach towards the sky. Exhale, folding forwards and down. The inhale lifts you halfway. Hands find shins or knees, roughly your flat back. Let your hands come to ground, so bend your knees as much as you want to, and then walk your feet back to your downward facing dog. You can find that pedal out for your feet as before, or you can take a bit of stillness here, whichever you need. Breath in and breath out. From our downward facing dog, let the knees drop down, let the toes untuck, finding your child's pose again. Torso comes down towards the ground. Maybe the hands reach a bit further forwards, or you could let your forehead land here. Taking a couple of breaths. And then can we come back to our kneeling position, so the place that we started. I'm going to go through a couple of lunges just before we kind of close practice today. So from here, coming onto your knees, stepping your left foot forwards. And again, you can take a moment to pad your right knee if you want to here. So take the hands up towards the sky, and you can stay as you are or draw the hips forwards, but think about lifting up and forwards here. So rather than sinking down, lift of the pelvis, drawing the torso forwards. From this position, can we take our left hand back, right hand forward, so we're coming into a twisted lunge. You can always have hands down on the knee and on the hip. Breath in, breath out. Can we take both hands back towards the sky? We're going to step back to our kneeling position, but with the hips lifted. If you want more challenge, keep your hands high. Left knee comes back. Right knee steps forwards, or right foot steps forwards. Again, take a moment to pad your knee. Hands find the ground. Hands find the sky. Draw forwards, but again, rather than like sinking down into the hips, there's a bit of lift of the hips, a bit of drop back of the pelvis, and then this long line of the torso that reaches forwards and then up. Breath in, breath out. From here, bring the pelvis back over your left knee. Right hand draws back, left hand forwards into our twisted low lunge. Breathing here. Hands find the sky, so right hand goes forwards. And again, you can challenge yourself to keep the hands high as you step your right foot back, or you can have your hands down and then let ourselves sink back down into that kneeling position. Couple of rolls through the shoulders here. Lifting shoulders up towards the ears, that circle round, down, and then let your hand land that place where you began. Hands rested, maybe on your thighs. You can turn your palms open if you want to here. Noticing your breath, tuning back to the natural rhythms. And from here, you can leave your hands where you are, or you can bring your palms together, thanking yourself for being on your mat today. And a big thank you from me for joining. See you again soon.